Today, The Lost Chapters unlocks a secret door leading into the darkest corners of the human mind. A place where the line between a king and a monster, between a gentle mother and a cold-blooded killer, becomes thinner than ever. We often think of evil as something distant, something alien. But the terrifying truth is that sometimes evil is born from the most beautiful things, from a desire to protect a nation, or even from the blind love of a mother. But before we step into the shadows, make sure you don't lose your way. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications right now. Are you ready? Don't forget to follow, because what you are about to hear, history has tried to hide. Our first story takes us back to the 15th century, to the windswept lands of Wallachia. In the dense forests, the name Vlad III, or Vlad the Impaler, was not just a title, it was the embodiment of terror. But Vlad was not born a monster. He was born into a world of betrayal. Imagine a boy growing up amidst political schemes, where his father was assassinated, his brother buried alive, and he himself was sent as a hostage to the enemy Ottoman Empire. During those years of captivity, Vlad learned a brutal lesson. Power does not come from mercy, it comes from absolute fear. When he returned to take the throne, Vlad faced a chaotic nation, greedy nobles, enemies lurking at the borders. And to restore order, he chose a path soaked in blood. Vlad believed he was executing justice. But what kind of justice was it? His signature method, impalement, a slow, agonizing death. Victims were pierced through the body with a large, greased wooden stake. It was planted upright so that the body's own weight would drag them down, carefully avoiding vital organs to ensure they didn't die immediately. They lived, writhing and screaming for days. History records the Forest of the Impaled, a scene so haunting that when the mighty Ottoman army advanced to invade, they turned back in sheer horror. Over 20,000 rotting corpses hanging from wooden stakes stretching for miles. It was the most brutal psychological warfare in history. Legends say Vlad would often enjoy his dinner right in the middle of this forest of corpses. He would calmly dip his bread into the blood of his victims, considering it a seasoning for his victory. Vlad's psychology was a complex labyrinth. He didn't kill for simple sadistic pleasure, but because he believed brutality was the only language his enemies and traitors could understand. Was he a hero protecting his land from the Ottoman Empire, or a bloodthirsty monster? That line was erased by the agonizing screams echoing from the 15th century. The name Dracula, later inspired by Bram Stoker, perhaps still isn't enough to describe the true cruelty of this man. Leaving the bloody battlefields, we arrive in a quiet town in Correggio, Italy, in the 1930s. Here lived a woman named Leonarda Cianciulli. She was a friendly neighbor, a devoted mother, and was affectionately known by everyone as the skilled soap maker. But behind that warm smile was a mind twisted by superstition and trauma.
Leonarda believed she carried a curse from her own mother. She had gone through 17 pregnancies, but lost 13 children to miscarriage or illness. The pain of loss turned her into an overprotective mother to the point of madness. When her favorite son, Giuseppe, was drafted into World War II, the fear in Leonarda exploded. She believed in a prophecy. For your son to live, other lives must take his place. Her victims were no strangers. They were lonely women in town, those who trusted her the most. Faustina Setti was the first. Leonarda promised her she'd find her a husband. Faustina came to Leonarda's house to say goodbye before leaving, bringing money and hope. But instead of a blessing, she received a blow from an axe. What happened next is the true nightmare. Leonarda didn't bury the body. She dragged it into the bathroom, chopped it into pieces, and threw it into a pot of boiling water with caustic soda to make soap. She stirred the thick, dark mush, added perfume, and created fragrant soap bars to gift to her neighbors. But even more horrifying, she took the victim's blood, dried it, ground it, and mixed it with flour, sugar, chocolate, and eggs. She baked them into crunchy tea cakes. I ate them, and I gave them to Giuseppe to eat, she later calmly confessed to the police. Why? Why would a mother do such a thing? In Leonarda's mind, she was not a murderer. She was a mother purifying the world to protect her child. She believed she was performing a sacred sacrifice. When arrested, she showed no remorse. She even proudly corrected the police officer's notes on her soap-making formula to ensure it was accurate. Love, when guided by madness and superstition, can create monsters disguised as the gentlest of mothers.
We reach the final chapter of today's video in Uganda during the 1970s, a place where a man named Idi Amin Dada declared himself Lord of all the beasts of the earth and fishes of the seas. The outside world saw him as a buffoon with outrageous statements, but the people of Uganda saw him as the butcher. Idi Amin seized power through a military coup, promising peace and prosperity. But absolute power quickly stripped away his mask to reveal his true nature. A mixture of extreme narcissism and utter paranoia. Amin didn't just kill political enemies, he killed anyone he suspected, or simply anyone he disliked. He turned Uganda into a giant slaughterhouse. Estimates suggest he murdered between 300,000 and 500,000 of his own people. Amin's cruelty was theatrical. He loved to watch executions. There are chilling rumors, never fully confirmed but never completely debunked, that he kept the severed heads of enemies in his freezer to talk to whenever he was lonely, and practiced cannibalism to gain his opponent's strength. When asked by a reporter about being a cannibal, he simply laughed and replied, "I don't like human flesh much. It's a bit too salty." A joke or a confession? Idi Amin's psychology represents the bloodlust of power. He saw himself as the center of the universe, chosen by God, so every action he took was truth. He would kill and then laugh immediately after. The contrast between his exterior, a friendly, massive father figure of the nation, and the brutal actions within is what makes Idi Amin so terrifying. He is living proof that when a madman holds absolute power, an entire nation becomes a graveyard. 3 people, 3 eras, 3 different motives. Vlad killed for order and fear. Leonarda killed for blind maternal love. Idi Amin killed for the narcissistic ego of power. But what do they have in common? They all believed they were right. They didn't see themselves as villains in their own stories. And that is the most terrifying aspect of criminal psychology. Evil rarely appears with a hideous face at first. It often hides behind the name of love, justice, or a higher calling. Does a dark corner exist within each of us, sleeping, waiting for a day when love or power wakes it up? The secret door closes for today, but the stories at the lost chapters are never truly finished. If these truths sent a shiver down your spine, don't keep it to yourself. Hit that subscribe button right now. Why? Because I know you don't want to miss the next video where we will decode mysteries even darker than this. Leave a comment below. In your opinion, who among these 3 was the most terrifying? See you in the next chapter of Forgotten Secrets. And for now, be careful with those tea cakes from your neighbor.